Well, hello there. We have 6 cards in our reading today. And before we jump into them, I just want to say, yes, I know I'm inside. I had actually wanted to be outside today so you all could hear the hummingbirds flying around. But it's super windy and a bit chilly, and it's kind of distracting for the sound. And I guess I just wanted to point out that all the elements that we deal with in our physical environment are reflective of elements within us. So whenever there's a lot of wind, I have to just kind of take a note of how active my mind is and where my thoughts are running away with me in a very aggressive way. And what do, right? If you're out camping and you have a tent or something and it's really windy, you anchor it. You put a weight somewhere attached to one of its legs so that it doesn't just fly away with itself. And so it's very symbolic, I think, when we can feel or see our mind kind of running away with thoughts that are taking us into a million directions. How do we anchor our attention, whether it's through our physical body or just what we're actually putting our will towards? So that's just a reflection to kind of offer up to everyone when you feel your mind running away with you, because we have these other elements and tools within our body that we can engage in a way to kind of rein in an aspect of ourselves when it's kind of running off on its own. So today's tarot has 6 cards in it. I did draw the 4 typical cards, which is our opening card, our challenge, the way we're going to get through the challenge, and our overall outcome. But it opened up a question that I think we're all working with. And so I pulled a couple of extra cards just for clarification. The opening card that we have for today is the 8 of Cups. We see this person who appears to be walking away from 2 stacks of cups. One of them is a stack of 3 cups and one of them is a stack of 5 cups. So in this card, we see a combination of the 3 of cups and the 5 of cups. We get this sense of the roller coaster that we've been on in regard to the highs and lows of some situation that we've felt really emotionally attached to. And we see that this person is extricating themselves from that situation, kind of going off on their own to reevaluate the situation, as if to say, that's just too much for me to be consumed by, and so I need to go work on myself. Of course, interestingly enough, we are approaching this eclipse on the day of the full moon, and during that time, we will be really highlighting things that we need to let go of that are of emotional nature, because the full moon is going to be in Scorpio, and the sun, of course, is in Taurus, up there with the North Node and Uranus, which is quite literally setting an anchor of light on where we need to put our attention and reflecting that which we need to let go of. So this is going to be a really powerful full moon, particularly if you are a fixed sign or have planets in the fixed signs, which would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So just a note, if you are feeling it, you are in alignment with what is going on right now. And it's time for a change, right? The challenge that we have for today is the Strength card. Man, where is our heart guiding us? And can we be a little gentle with ourselves and be willing to step into the unknown, regardless of how uneasy that makes us feel? So this is a card that's reminding us to follow our heart, but also to be gentle with ourselves. Have some forgiveness in ourselves. If we kind of jumped on that roller coaster ride over and over and over again because we just couldn't get enough of it, or, the highs were so good, it just, erased all the lows in our memory until we're sitting there in the midst of the lows and it's so heavy and so intense that we just want something to change. Well, God shows up in really interesting ways by bringing change into our life. And within that change, there's always opportunity within the possibility of the unknown. But we want stability, right? And so we tend to go back to what is known, even if it isn't healthy for us, which is something that we're being called to task on. Are you willing to take that risk to get to the other side of the bridge that you've been wobbling on? Well, the way we're going to get through the challenge is the Two of Pentacles. So we see this person who's walking on a tightrope. There's this swelling body of water behind them with a couple of ships on it. And they have a coin in each of their hands with this, looks like, a belt of some sort going around it in a sign of infinity almost, right? So it's speaking to this cycle and this kind of imbalance of chaos that we're all trying to figure out our footing in. And if you've ever been in a situation where, maybe you're on something that's wobbly, you start to figure out how to place your weight in your footing and where to put your attention so that you can find balance. And that's what it's calling us to do. We have to be willing to listen to our body, right? Because this is a pentacle card in regard to how do we find balance? Let your anchor, that is your vessel, guide you, right? And it's really important that we look at this. This is a reflective energy that we're working with, and something that we have to consider, that there's always going to be emotions going on in the background. There's always going to be wind blowing, whether it's a gentle breeze or an intense breeze, right? There's going to be all of these variances of things that we're working with, and where do we find our footing within it? How do we find our balance within chaos? How do we find our own harmony? Well, that's how you get over the bridge, right? That's how you find your footing. You figure out where to place your hands for support, where to place your feet. You can't place your foot in that crack in between wood and consider that you're going to make it across the bridge. You have to listen to your own inner guidance by way of the body. Now, the ultimate outcome that we have for today is the Eight of Swords. It's interesting to me that we started with the Eight of Cups. The major arcana that we have is the 8, right? By way of strength, which is representative of Leo. And then we have this card showing up, the 8 of Swords, which is kind of accepting the timeliness of a limitation, that it's not permanent, that things are shifting, things are in movement. And so this is reminding us to not waste our energy by way of spinning our gears in our mind, right? Because things are going to be revealed, and we will have a better understanding of how to approach it once we can see things clearly. But she's blindfolded. She doesn't know all that's there. And a lot of that is going to be revealed in time, because this is an 8 card. I did pull a card for clarification because I thought people might want it and need it. And we got the 2 of Swords. So we have both of the blindfolded characters of the deck showing up as our outcome. And so this is calling us to trust the situation, trust what is being revealed to us, and be willing to listen by way of our own intuitiveness in regard to where to act, because right now we're in a place of receiving information. I pulled another clarity card for us because I just thought it was so interesting that we got 2 sword cards, both blindfolded, one after the other, and we got the Page of Wands. So we're in a time of ascension, quite possibly, looking towards something that has more potential than what we've been working with now. And the only way to do that is to let go of what hasn't been working, right? I mean, if you're from Colorado, or you've been to Lakeside or Elitch's, like the wild chipmunk could be your favorite ride, right? You may, for some reason, like really enjoy feeling like you're going to die every turn in life. But if you don't want that experience in life, if you don't want the experience of riding the twister and being on this rickety old roller coaster that's on a wood frame that feels like a screw is going to pop out at any time and you might fall to your demise, well then, don't line up for that ride anymore. Maybe you want to go to Waterworld and get on the lazy river, although there might not be very much possibility there. Maybe there's another ride that you want to get on. But the point is that there's going to be highs and lows to everything. But if something feels unsafe or like it's taking you in a direction that is not where you want to go, then it's time to stop lining up for that ride and trust that what you see is giving you information for you to set your aim a little bit higher above the horizon rather than down into that same pit that maybe you've been revisiting over and over and over again. We have to let go, right, in order to move on. And we have to, in a lot of ways, transform from our previous self that was willing to, engage in this super high and low of emotional experience with the attempt to attain some pinnacle of something, versus someone who is here to be in life, to see what they can actually bring to the table and what they can enjoy when someone else brings something to the table too. Interesting time, guys. If you'd like your own reading, I offer 12 card readings in an astrological layout. So we look at each house of the astrological system, which represent each different area of your life. I also like to look at the transits that are happening for you personally, so we can see, for instance, where the eclipse axis is going to be showing up in your life by way of, which window of your world it's going to be reflecting in. So if you're interested in getting a reading, or someone who would possibly be helped and supported at this time in their life and you'd like to get them a reading, I will leave those links below and my contact information so we can set some time up. I send you a good wish and so much love, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.